You know, a lot of people have been anxious recently because of market volatility, the market going down. Don't panic. Our clients are not losing a dime due to market downturns. They never have, because their money is in properly structured max funded IUL, where you do not lose when the market goes down. You may not make anything that year, but you don't lose. But they're excited, go, because as soon as the market turns around, which it has to reset in order to go back up, they know they're going to make money easier, faster, from a lower starting point than when the market was higher. So this episode will help you understand why you can seize the opportunity when there's anxiety out there in the market, and why you make money due to market downturns. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for more than 5 decades, helping thousands of Americans optimize their assets, minimize taxes, and empower what I call their authentic wealth. So I want to go through and help you understand how you can seize opportunities when there's anxiety out there in the market. Now, this is a chart of the Great Recession, the year 2000, basically, to 2012. This chart starts in November of 1999, and it ends up in November of 2012. We call this the Great Recession. And there's a lot of Americans that spent their entire lifetime accumulating, let's say, $1 million nest egg at the turn of the century. They were baby boomers, and they wanted to get ready to retire, but they felt like they had lost their future. They had to put off retirement maybe 7 years. Why? Because their money was in the market and they were subject to that volatility. And so they saw that $1 million nest egg go down in value to 650,000 from 2001 to 2003. Now, our clients with their money in max funded IUL, they didn't lose a dime during that period. They may have made a zero, but they didn't make anything, but they didn't lose in the year 2001. But in 2002 and 2003, at a minimum, they made 5% tax-free, okay? So they made 5%. They were up here. When the market turned around, now that spells opportunity, because they were able to start from here, and the market going back here to break even. It's easier to do that than for the market to experience that kind of a gain from a starting point up here, okay? And so they were cheering when the market went down. They turned around and made money from 2003 to 2007. Most Americans who had their money in the S&P, in the market, that $1 million went down to about 600,000. It took 4 years to come back to break even, okay? Our clients who had $1 million in IUL, many of them doubled their money to $2 million in that same 7-year period, okay? Because they understand how to not lose when the market goes down and seize the opportunity when it does crash to be able to make money, a tremendous amount of money, because the market comes back up again, okay? Now, what happened in 2008? As Warren Buffett put it, he said, when the tide went out in 2008, it revealed who was swimming naked, is what he said. A lot of Americans, they lost 40% again for the second time in a decade. They saw that $1 million nest egg go down to 650,000, and it took 4 more years from 2008 to 2012 to come back to above break even. They finally had $1,046,800 to show for the million they started with. That's a pathetic 1/3 of 1% compounded rate of return. That's ridiculous, okay? Our clients, they were cheering in 2008. Go. That anxiety spelled opportunity. They didn't make anything in 2007, but in 2008, okay, they were able to seize this opportunity to start making money from this point. And the first 90 days of 2009, many of our clients locked in gains of 16% tax-free after not losing a dime. So at the end of this period, when Americans were hardly back to break even, our clients that had $1 million in IUL ended up with $2.5 to $3 million in that same time period. This is very significant. And so when critics out there say, well, does IUL really work? Well, when structured correctly and funded properly, it often outperforms the illustrated projection from 10, 15 years earlier. And we have evidence of this on my YouTube channel under the Does IUL Work playlist, okay? And so this is evidence. The last time the market really took a nosedive was March of 2020, okay? And so March of 2020, what happened? COVID-19. And the market dropped 30%. Now, anxiety spelled opportunity. And so our specialists, especially my two sons, Emmer and Aaron, they contacted 800 of our clients. And with one keystroke, they switched the IUL strategy from the normal cap strategy, where if the market goes up and it goes up to 12 or 15 or 20 or whatever, it might be capped at 12% or 16%. But if the market crashes, you don't make anything, but you don't lose. Your zero is your hero because you don't lose. But when there's anxiety, there's opportunity. And so they switch their clients to a 1 year point to point. We measure 1 year point to point with no cap, because the chance that the market was going to recover from a 30% loss was highly likely. No cap, but it's called a threshold strategy, where they subtract 5 percentage points off of the top. So what was the result? Here's a client that diversified the money in their IUL. They had about 37,000 in there. And half of it, they diversified into 3 different indices, 6,000 in each. And they got credited 9%, 12%, 7.25% on that money. But the other half was linked to this 1 year point to point with no cap. And that 18,000 got credited 61.33% that year. In March of 2021, that 18,000 grew to 29,000 over here, okay? When there's anxiety, there's opportunity. Now, we had another client that had 852,000. He had much more than that in his IUL, but he took 852,000 and he linked it in March of the year 2020, when the market crashed 30%, to the 1 year point to point with no cap, okay? This is why it behooves you to get together with an IUL specialist that knows what they're doing. This is called rebalancing, where you seize these opportunities year by year and you diversify. He was diversified, but he allocated, I think this was like 20 or 25% of the money he had in his IUL. I think he had a total of 4 million. And but this 852,000 got credited in 12 months with 61.33%. That's 535 grand. That 852 grand was worth 1,387,000 1 year later. Okay? See, he sees that opportunity. In retrospect, he wished he would have allocated all of his money there, but hello. Now, here's the point. If the next year the market would have crashed, he would not have lost one dime of the $500,000 he made the year before, because that gain is locked in. That's called lock in and reset with IUL, okay? And so, but if it would have crashed another 40% the next year, that spells opportunity. We would have done it again, okay? And so, because of the market volatility and the market going down, don't panic. You need to learn how to take advantage of market downturns, because that spells opportunity. So let me give you a glimpse of a couple of ways that we can help you do that. When the market goes down and you seize this opportunity while the market's down, it's much easier to make money from that lower point as the market does rebound, okay? What always happens after a crash? The market recovers, okay? And so rather than being told by your advisor, hey, I know you had $1 million and last year, but it's down to 600,000, but hang in there, because the market always comes back. Well, why do you want to lose 400,000 and have your million go down to 600,000 and be told to hang in there for 4 years to come back to break even? Don't lose in the first place. You may not make anything, but don't lose. And then you start making money from that point forward. And now, okay, you're making a tremendous amount of money from that starting point. That's what IUL does. And you want to seize that opportunity, and you need to learn how to do this, or you're missing out big time. There's another opportunity. If you have money trapped in IRAs or 401ks, okay, and your IRAs or 401ks, like I just mentioned, let's say we're worth $1 million, and the market crashes like it did in March of 2020, and your $1 million goes down to 700,000. Hello. Would you rather wait until that 700,000 comes back to $1 million and then pay tax on the higher amount later, probably at higher tax rates, because most Americans believe that taxes in the future will likely be higher? Or would it be better to get the taxes over and done with while account values are lower, 30% lower, and while tax rates are lower? Because right now, tax rates, your current tax bracket is likely the lowest bracket you will ever be in. And if you don't use the low tax rates and the room in the Internal Revenue Code, you'll lose it. You need to consider what is called a strategic rollout. Get that money out of those IRAs or 401ks while account values are lower and while tax rates are lower. Reposition it after tax into something that's going to be tax-free from now on, and ride that wave so that your money grows tax-free from now on. Why wait around until the market comes back? So many people make the mistake of, well, as soon as my IRAs or 401ks get back to the high water mark, then I'll switch. Why? Get the taxes over and done with and put it into IUL while it's lower, and then ride the market back up again tax-free. Why do you want to wait until your account recovers with yet to be taxed returns? Is this making sense? So what I want you to do is seize this opportunity. In my book, The L.A.S.E.R Fund, which has been flying off of our warehouse shelves, it's 300 pages jam-packed with information that will show you how and why a properly structured max-funded IUL is the best way to diversify and create the foundation for a tax-free retirement and be immune from market volatility and actually be able to cheer when the market crashes, because that spells opportunity. Okay. And this is actually 2 books in one, because this side is about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations if you are a left brain learner. Okay. If you're a right brain learner and you learn more by stories and examples, you can flip it over to this book, about 100 pages and 12 chapters with 62 chicken soup for the financial soul stories. Okay. If you want to use your whole brain, your right brain and your left brain, you can do that. Go to laserfund.com or click on the link below, and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that, and I'll pay for the book. I will fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail, okay? But I require a little bit of skin in the game. Cover the shipping and handling, okay? And you can go to Amazon and buy it for $20 up to $60. And if you do, thank you. But I'll gift you a copy free. Just cover the shipping and handling. And then while you're in there claiming your free book, if you'd like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's formats for that too. But you can schedule an appointment with an IUL specialist that I oversee that will show you how this works in your particular set of circumstances. No cost, no obligation. And they will show you how it works. And you can even attend an educational webinar that we do on a regular basis. But this is not about me. This is about you and your brighter future. So seize the opportunity. Don't be anxious, but realize that when there's anxiety, that spells opportunity.